Good evening and welcome to The Business Coach, a show in which you out to help entrepreneurs better their businesses. Another week, another opportunity for us to explore the world of business. On the first half of the show, I'm going to be having a conversation with Teguto, who runs Teguto Culture, a startup that ensures that they come to you to ensure that you have your artificial locks. So I want to find out how her journey is, what are some of the challenges she's facing in her business, and after the break, I'm going to be linking up Teguto to her dad, Tondo, the founder of Locs by her dad, the home for temporary locks. Quite an interesting show that you have lined up. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. So Teguto, finally, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Looking all good. I love all the artifacts.
Thank you. It's the culture part.
My goodness, you're making me look all white. Two English names, two not embracing your culture, but looking quite good.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
you have quite an interesting story as to how exactly you got into the hair business.
Yes.
You told me that you're a YouTube student.
Yes.
Just take me through that particular journey. How exactly was it for you?
In campus, I've always been a natural hair person, you know. So, but it came to a point where, because the texture of my hair is quite soft, so every time I would do hair, it will undo itself. Yeah, it will undo itself.
The big lady with
yeah.
the soft hair. Every lady
you see at the front, so it just undoes itself. So it came to a point where I actually really wanted to do locks. But the locks in the market was a no-go zone because, like, if you go to Kenyatta Market or Moja Market, the way they would do the locks, they would be so painful and so stiff. So
they perceive everybody has a hard hair.
Tough hair. Yeah, something like that. So, but the hair, after they do your hair, it looks like roots or branches of a tree, and then they have to use hot water to calm you down. And it was, I've never done it, but from my friends' point of view, it was so painful. I had friends who were telling me they couldn't walk in the sun for 3 days.
What?
You know, you can't pull, like the skin is...
The cost of
beauty.
It
was just too much. So at the time I did a big chop where I just cut all my hair. So as it was growing, that is when I took the initiative to now want to do hair, like now to do my own hair. It was not even for business purposes. So where else could I learn? YouTube. So I just started there and I went and I watched one video and I was practicing on myself over and over again. I can watch the same video over 50 times just to get that one concept.
And then you do it on yourself?
Yeah, I'm the only girl, so I don't have sisters to...
That's interesting.
Yeah, I only have brothers, so I only have myself to do that. So I would just sit when watching the YouTube and I would try and I'd sit and like that. So that's how it started, yeah.
And for how long did you do that? And how exactly now did it, what's it called, just move from being a hobby to being a business? How did that happen?
I did that, I think, for just not very long, but it took me maybe 6 months to be able to, by the time my hair was now grown to a point that I could braid myself. So it took me, I think, just 6 months. So now I would now start, like when I would go to town or someone would stop me, you have locks, but it's a different type of locks, you know. Where did you get it done? How did you do it? You know, so I'm like, I did it myself. They're like, oh really? I really like it. Can you also do it for me? I'll pay you. At that time I'm like, really? It's okay. You can just buy the hair. I was not even charging. I was just saying, just buy the hair. I'll come and do it for you. So it started with one person, then another person, see another person, you know. So it came to a point where I would have like 10 people. And at that time I was not charging, you know, I'm still telling the person just...
Because you know. It is a ministry.
I did that. So they were like, no, this is a business. You have to get yourself. At that time I think I was now finishing...
campus.
Yeah, I was not finishing that time. So like, you know what, no, let me now start like earning money. So after 2018, I started in 2019 January. So that's the time now I was like, hey, you know what, this hair, I've done quite a number of people. So people will be like, hey, well, can I see your work? So it led me to open up my Instagram page just to post my work. Because people will be like, how can I see your work? What else have you done? What else have you done?
Interesting. And your Instagram page is called?
Teguto Culture.
Oh, interesting. I'm just going through it and just checking all the things. Yeah. Good. It's so interesting.
Yes.
But you're, what's it called? You said you started it when you're still in campus and doing it as a hobby, and then here you're about to graduate. You told me you started biotechnology.
Yes, biotechnology.
Which is a very sophisticated course. And here you're faced by the decision of either pursuing that as a career, but also pursuing this as a business. How exactly was that particular decision making, and how did your parents take it?
Oh, my parents. Oh God, it was not easy because my parents at the time. If it's not the office, it might not be an actual job. You get? If it's not white collar, it's not a job. You know. So, but when I started, I didn't think I didn't start it with the aim of that I'll be doing this full time. I just started like, you know, let me just do this as I wait for a job or as I continue sending my applications. You know. But the more I was doing it, the more clients started coming in. You know, I would be booked 1 week early. Like this week is fully booked. to another point it would be like 2 weeks is fully booked, you know, and it's consistent. So the more I was getting money, and then I'm like, you know what, okay, now I'm going to stop. Next month, I'm not going to do it again, So my parents, it took time, of course, for them to understand that, you know, but the more they saw that I was independent, I didn't like ask for money for transport or to buy clothes or anything. They were, you know, they were now easing. They were not like leaving, but they were just easing that, you know what, she's doing her own thing. Let me not like disrupt her now, you know. So, but even I was learning, it took a lot of discipline because I was now learning money. I've not done economics or someone teaching me how to do these things, so I had to teach myself how to.
You're moving on from
now to do money, and I'm learning also how I have to learn business management. How do I manage my business? How do I get savings? How do I, like, these are things I had to now teach myself.
But your model still entails you just going, any particular clients goes through your social media page, makes a booking, and you go to visit them. Why exactly are you pursuing that particular direction in terms of your business instead of probably setting up a particular shop? Just take me.
Well, that's how I started the freelance, and I realized my clients love that. They love me coming to them. Not many people were doing that when I started. It was just a few. So when I would be like, oh yeah, you can just pay for my transport, I'll come to you. They were like, really, that is amazing. And so they'll be like, most of my clients were actually either people who are working from home at that time, but there were not as many. I also had people like mothers who are expectant or who are just, you know, like had children, you know. So those are all people who don't have offices, those who also just, you know, they're always based maybe in one place and they can't move a lot. So the more I would do that, they're like, hey, she came to my house. They're like, she came to your house also, and can she also come to my place? I stay in this place. Do you think she can come? You know, that's how it started. So there's a time I actually tried to do a salon, but I think I did it for just a month or two. I feel almost inconvenienced because of time, especially with my clients, because I was in Langata. So at times if I give a client, can you be here at 10? I mean, or at 9? If there is traffic on their road, that is, and you know, I'm working alone. I don't have like someone else who can like compensate you if I'm not the one, you know. And for the pandemic, it worked for my good. Like
everybody was at home.
It worked so much for my good, you know.
And just educate me about some of the what's it called, the services that you do offer. As you can see, I have no hair. So, I can't tell the hair you have on your hair.
It's true. So for locks, in the beginning, people only knew one type of locks, and that was the locks or the fox locks. People say it differently, So the ones which look more dread-like, So that was the first time, the first main lock that people knew, and people were really afraid of that lock because it's very painful when you're done to the traditional.
Don't you telling me that you're done?
It can look like tree branches, you know. So from 4 locks, there's also now these are locks that are like locks are actually very versatile, but they come in different seasons. So there's another type of locks called the distressed or the butterfly locks. That is like maybe what I have on my head.
So that's butterfly.
Butterfly, and then with goddess, like with the curls hanging, you know, those are the goddess kind of locks, you know, We also have gypsy locks, but gypsy locks are pre-made locks. They come ready-made.
So you do all that?
Yeah, I do all that. So they are pre-made, so what you just buy the hair, then it's installed on your head, you know. Then there's the temporary locks. That is now what I don't do. That is now what Hada does. That is, they look like permanent locks, but they just installed in your hair and they look dread-like, and so they cannot last for a very long time.
So what are some of the challenges you've been experiencing?
Because I'm always freelance, number one, I'm always on the road. So fatigue is something, you know. In the morning, I can be in Thika Road. In the afternoon, I'll be in Mombasa Road. In the morning, I'll be in Kangundo Road, and then I have to go to maybe Safari Park, you know. So I have, one thing is always, I'll be
You're always on the
tired,
move.
you know. So, and if you're always on the move, time is one of the most important things. Also, the routes are going, some of them are maybe they are either far or they're very new, so at times I'm not very conversant if it's the first time, you know, But I've learned over time. Right now I can't get lost. Before it was very hard.
What's the dream for Tegutu? Where exactly do you want to be? Because you would have been somewhere as a scientist telling us with this plant and this plant can give this, but here you are with butterflies and gypsies and all that. What's the future for you? What does it look like?
For me, I'd want to open a salon. I'd also want my own salon, and I'd want in 2 categories. I'd love to have people who work in the salon, and I also have to have people who are freelance like me. You know, it's important because I've realized there's a group of clients who actually just want the freelance, you know. And I'd also have to have my own kind of school where I teach people, because if I can learn through YouTube, then someone else can learn through me. Not everybody can learn through YouTube the way I have. So for me, there's a way, even when I teach other people, there's a way I have simplified it for someone to know, like, we're learning this log, so the most important part first you start with partitioning, how to partition your head, how to separate the hair, you know, how to install the locks. There are two types of installation. Yeah, but these are things I have learned, and I'm writing a book on how I have learned to be able to teach someone else.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm wishing you all the best. Hopefully in a couple of years you're going to be meeting, like somewhere.
No, don't say a couple, just say like a few, like 1 or 2 years I'll be back in there.
Okay, interesting. So we're going to take a short commercial break at this particular junction, and after the break I'm going to be linking up to Good to Locked by Dad to share some tips on how exactly she can move, or rather her dream can come to reality. So ladies and gentlemen, don't touch that dial. I'll see you after the break.